The China Report for Monday, May 20, 2013. At least 12 dead in factory blast. At least 12 people died and 11 were missing Monday after a blast destroyed an explosives workshop in the eastern Chinese province of Shandong, state media said. The explosion scattered rubble up to 200 meters away, killing at least a dozen people at the factory owned by the Poly Explosives Jinan Company in Shandong's Kaofen Township, the semi-official China News Service reported. 34 people were in the workshop and 8 others were working nearby at the time of the explosion Monday morning, the agency quoted officials as saying. By late afternoon, rescuers had recovered 12 bodies and sent 19 injured people to hospital, including 2 in serious condition, the agency said. Firefighters were still searching for 11 missing people, it said. State television showed footage of the rescuers using a crane to sift through the remains of the flattened concrete and brick building. Chen Guangcheng issues plea for relatives in China. A Chinese activist who fled to the U.S. last year has told the BBC he thinks Washington should do more to protect the relatives he left behind in China. Chen Guangcheng caused a diplomatic row between the U.S. and China when he escaped house arrest and sought refuge in the American embassy in Beijing. He was eventually allowed to settle in New York with his immediate family. But he said relatives he left behind had been subjected to systematic persecution by the authorities. China's authorities do not usually comment on the case of Mr. Chen and his relatives. In the past they have denied allegations of mistreatment and even that he was under house arrest. China has a history of cruel and unusual punishment toward anyone who talks out about the corrupt and morally empty central government. How China chokes its neighbors. When the Chinese smog arrives, the medical masks come in fashion. Every few months, this city of 1.5 million people in southern Japan, not far from mainland China, gets a dose of lung clogging courtesy of its neighbor. Coal factories in the cities of Tianjin and Beijing, combined with the growing numbers of automobiles, pump out toxins that drift westward across the East China Sea. They hit Japan and, to a lesser extent, South Korea. The most recent air pollution crisis came in February, when a whitish-gray blanket of smog fell over Fukuoka. The city government put out an advisory on its early warning system, the first in Japan, started that month urging everybody, and especially infants and the elderly, to stay indoors and wear face masks outside. China's pollution problems not only affect Chinese citizens but the citizens of the world. Greed is the source of China's pollution problems. Trading money for health. China Development Bank says $8.1 trillion needed for urban shift. China needs at least 50 trillion yuan $8.1 trillion into investment by 2020 to accommodate a burgeoning population of city dwellers, according to the president of China Development Bank. China must urgently find special financing channels to support the urbanization process because local governments can't afford the spending, Zhang Ziji, the bank's president, wrote in an article in the May 16 issue of China Finance, a journal run by the People's Bank of China. Zhang didn't elaborate on the estimate, which is about equal to the nation's nominal gross domestic product in 2012. This need is coming while the Chinese economy is slowing and severe eigen debt to GDP is soaring. Could this be the end of the Chinese miracle economy? That's the China Report for today. Zaijian.